Welcome everyone to Politically High Tech with your host, Elias. This is episode 211. Yes, we're back. Season 6 has officially begun. Are you excited? Do you miss me much? Oh, not too much. Well, I already said that in the previous episode, 210, that there was going to be some changes, right? Well, I have broken at least one of them, the episode length. The only thing I can guarantee at this point that there'll be no more than 1 hour, but the short ones will be the 20-30 minute range. It's going to be between 20 minutes to 1 hour, especially if I think the topic is very interesting, more complex. I think an hour episode is more appropriate for those, but something simple, more familiar, more easy to digest. 20 to 40 minutes to be exact. Yeah, 20 to 40 minutes. So that's the average duration of the episodes be between 20 to 40 minutes. Okay? That's all I can say about that. So I have three topics for you today. And if for those of you who are listening through audio, I'm going to introduce you to a portion of my living room. Picture a brown love seat, okay, with a mini table next to it with a couple of artificial plants to make it lively. Fake things could be beautiful for a much longer time. Unlike real plants are prettier, but they also decay, and the room will look more tacky, more hideous, if you want me to be honest. So I settled with the artificial ones. They stay pretty, okay? Uh, just being brutally honest here. And then I have two maps behind me. My big head is covering the United States one. It's in elementary school color, so it's easy to differentiate. It has different shades of red, yellow, green, blue, white, and of course with black text. Okay, and the wall, some of you may see it as gray, some of you may see it as periwinkle. Everyone's eyes is a little different. It's been scientifically proven that men and women perceive colors somewhat differently. Okay. So I'm just trying to incorporate as much inclusivity when it comes to perception. Okay. So, there's a green curtain closing the window. Yeah, it's a nice simple green curtain. And that's it. That's all you're going to get. That's the room that I'm in. Enjoy that visual, especially for those of you who are listening to audio, especially listen to Apple Podcasts or through the website itself, which Buzzsprout does support, which I do appreciate them. I think that they have a great tool for that. So, with all of that stuff of me breaking promises, I have three topics for you today. Three, okay? And I am going to focus more on geopolitics because I don't do that enough. Now, I know I don't do that enough. I really don't do that enough. And I need to be doing that more often. And God willing, I have more guests that covers the geopolitics. I also want some that covers America as well, especially for more of my reoccurring guests, because I have more confidence in them at this point. So the first topic, Mexico elects a woman president, and she is the successor of the current. Yeah, she's going to succeed the current Mexican president. They're the same left-wing party. Okay. And he is called Almo for short because that's the initials to Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. Okay. And she's going to succeed him. So she had the party advantage. And she also has a Jewish. Yeah, she's Jewish as well. Okay. And I know some of the anti Semitism language is disgusting. I condemn that, but I do not cancel them. And you want to know why? I prefer the ugly opinion to be out there so you can know who they are. Hopefully, it'll change for the better. Hopefully, they will cringe one day of their ignorance and hate. Ooh, that was me 5 years ago. I'm embarrassed of that. Cancel culture doesn't work. It makes the person into a martyr. You know, mostly figuratively speaking. Okay, so I don't support cancel culture, but I do support accountability when they do the crime. And I'm going to say this once: there is already laws in the books to arrest people if they commit a hate crime against certain people with certain characteristics and certain heritage. And I am generally for that. I am generally for that. I mean, it's been applied mostly well. Before I was skeptical of it, but by the time I did my deep studies, I changed my mind. And normally it has to be me that changes my mind, not some left wing or right wing nut trying to shove their fringe talking points down my throat. So if anything, I fight back against that. But before I get deeper into that, I want to talk about the second topic. The second topic is, and this is long overdue. I should have been reporting this. Not should have. I should have talked about this sooner at some point, but I was in a hiatus. African countries. The African military has kicked out the U.S. counterparts. They're not playing. They got rid of the French military. They got rid of the U.S. military. A couple of countries. One, the ones while I was skimming through the article. Chad, Niger. Okay, those are the big two that have kicked out U.S. and French. Mostly U.S. We're talking about here. The U.S. military. They've been kicked out. Is this a sign of U.S. declining foreign policy? If I'm going to be honest, we've been declining in that continent. We only go there when we need something. Okay, it's great that we do missionary work over there. I would say that's a good part, and I'm for that. When it comes to our politics, our military, we just come here to take some of the shit enrich us. Okay, we have that colonial mindset. No, so I'm a bit of a leftist here, but there's a lot of truth to that. There is just so much truth to that. And then, Miles take it to the U.S. United States will start sanctioning the ICC, the International Criminal Court. They're going to be sanctioned because they want to prosecute and hold Benjamin Netanyahu to account. The U.S. is saying, nope, that is not going to happen. So, especially the Republican Party and the moderate Democrats, they're already pushing, they already passed it through the House. Okay, I'm going to get a little more into that. But those are your topics. So, a Mexican president's a woman, okay, our southern neighbor, what that means for United States. African nations has kicked out the U.S. troops. What does that mean? And U.S. will sanction ICC or not, because it needs to be passed through the Senate and through the executive branch, and the odds are not looking that great. So let's get into it. I'm going to share the article with you as well so you can see it along with me. All right. So, U.S. We got to elect a woman president. Mexico has beat us there. It has elected its first woman president. Her name is Claudia Sheinbaum. Okay. She worked at the UN with climate scientists, and she earned a nickname La Doctora. doctora, the doctor in Spanish. Okay, and she's the successor to, like I said, Almo Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. He's also been a political mentor to her. It's good that she listened to him. She has won, that I could speculate. And I mean, the security coordination, let's just say, between the United States and Mexico has been really, really bad. It's been horrendous. And one could say this is why Biden has such a hard time controlling the border. Because he's not doing such a good part. She says that she will create an international agency that could gather intelligence, that coordinates with multiple levels of the government. And she wants to work with the United States with that as well. Of course, politicians are going to say the right thing sometimes. Let's see if the action matches. That's the key thing. And let's be real, it doesn't happen all the time. It really doesn't. And let me just highlight right here. She wants to cooperate with the United States. And she says that Mexico is no longer just a transit for migrants, it's a destination to absorb hundreds of thousands of migrants potentially stay in Mexico if they can't reach the U.S. border. It shows the United States to provide funds and resources that Mexico can use to absorb migrants into the soil. With Trump, good luck with that. Assuming if he's going to win, despite he's been guilty of all 34 counts, he's going to be arrested. My honest guess is no. So she's a big deal in terms of the climate change universe. And she has noted that China, yep, the biggest rival to the United States, is increasing influence in South America, Latin America, Africa. And she says she wants to try to keep everybody happy. And Chinese companies offer Mexicans a cheaper alternatives to EVs in the United States. People do want cheaper stuff. Come on, you can relate to that, right? When you go to groceries, you want the cheaper price, right? You want to pay for less. So, and there has been a lot of political violence, I must add. A lot of political violence. Let me just stop sharing this for a little bit so you can see me. There's been a lot of political violence. Okay. And let us be clear. Over 30 politicians that ran during this election cycle in Mexico have been killed. The cartel's been stronger. I hope she has a response to that as well, because that does affect the United States. Of course, she's got to take care of her soil. Right? Get that, her territory, because she's in charge of Mexico. Well, the cooperation with the United States would be nice. And asking U.S. for money on that, especially if, let's just assume, Trump is going to be president again, it's going to be a lot more complicated. If Biden wins this election, then I could see that being more doable. He'll be more willing to cooperate with Mexico, probably begrudgingly. But yeah, he'll be willing to do that. So let's get back to that article right there. And so it's good. I don't mind a woman leadership. I don't care about the gender. I only care about competence. Competence, competence. We have to be a real meritocracy. Not just say that in word only. And her party, the Morena party, okay, they have won supermajorities in Congress. They got 7 out of 9 governorships right here. So the party's in control. The mayorship of Mexico City and the majority of major districts of the capital. So I think domestically there should be more cooperation, but sometimes the fractions within the party sometimes fight among each other when they have a supermajority. It's happened with the Democrats. They have a super Senate majority. They could have got more things done. But eventually, just eventually, they screwed up, and the Republicans ended up taking over the House and the Senate. And that's why Obama couldn't get much things done. Couldn't. Only like the first 2 years. Nah, politics is never easy. If it was, everyone would have been such a great politician, right? It's insane. It's quite insane. Hopefully, she'll be a better leader than Mr. Almo, but I can't say that for sure. I can't say that for sure. Let's give her a shot. Let's give her a chance. So when will America elect a woman president? There's a little comment activity there. You want to cringe at that activity, then go right ahead. When, if America could elect a woman president, when would that happen? Well, probably by 2040. Or it will never happen. Let's be cynical. It will never happen. And sometimes, like I say this because there's certain women I talk to, and this shady sentiment is more prevalent than you think. A decent amount of women in America say that it is not a woman's place to be president. Forget about the man's perspective, all right? Forget about that. But I've talked to women about this, and I disagree. I think there's an opportunity for a woman to be president. I think, and I'm open to it. I am open to competence. I don't care about gender, race, and all those other all those identities. What I want is competence, competence, competence. That's all I want. Okay. Will it come for the Republican Party? Or will a Democrat win that gender race? We'll see. We will see about that. So now I'm going to get into the second topic. And that's the first one. Hopefully things will get better. We're going to talk about Africa. Yeah. African nations has been kicking out the U.S. The U.S. has moved troops from Chad, Niger. Government's telling them to get your troops out of here. Okay. And the Western influence has been waning. I mean, China's been making deals with various African countries. Mexico's one of them. Latin America. I mean, America has not done such a good job. America needs to act more like a partner. Those nations. Then I think a U.S. would have been a much stronger standing. But China's taking advantage, and it's smart of them to do that. Not praising them. I want America to win. But you got to acknowledge unpleasant realities, okay? You just need to acknowledge that. All right? They have halted U.S. military operations, those two nations. They want them out. Yeah, they got rid of France as well, just like I said, just to make sure of that. They want them out. They are tired of these colonial powers. And other countries, other military juntas, that's militaries that run the government. Burkina, pretty sure I'm mispronouncing this. Burkina Faso and Mali has severed ties with France. Okay. The French influence is dying. Europeans have failed to maintain peace. And they were there to mostly combat Al Qaeda and other terrorist organizations. And some are talking with governments, and of course, When they get kicked out, Russia and Iran, they just come just to fill that void. And they are spreading the influence to Central African Republic, Libya, Mali, Sudan. The Wagner Group has made attempts to engage with Burkina Faso and accused it happened accused to destabilize Chad's government. So the Russian militia has has been blamed of messing things up and over there. Okay, well, U.S. We got to rebrand. We got to rethink how we do relations. That's all I could say. Do I have the answer? I don't think so. Iran's been giving more military drones. They need something more tangible. May I say, God, with tangibility, it's always the best. And now Moscow's secured military agreements with 43 countries. Russia's taking advantage here. Yeah. The Western influence is waning down. Who knows, maybe the terrorists has got to them too. They could do more than just blowing up buildings. You know, but you know, not all of Africa has removed the Western influence. I'm going to highlight this sentence here. Paris has reduces their presence in Africa, but still maintain military bases. Countries like Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Gabon, Djibouti, well, and Chad, but Chad is in the process of kicking them out. U.S. who has military influence in Zambia, Burundi, Angola, Djibouti. So we got to rethink. We got to rethink about how U.S. engages relations with Africa. It's not. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. Russia influence, Iranian influence is growing. Of course, China as well, especially with their Silk Road initiative and extract the resources for their EVs. Not just the United States, China's doing similar things as well. It's just that they're the new face to some extent. They are when it comes to being a trade partner. U.S., we have a pretty stained history of colonization. And we need to change that. I don't know if that's I'm pretty sure it's not possible anytime soon, but hopefully in the future we could rethink our relationship with the African continent. It's nice that we send Christian missionaries over there. I'm not against that. I believe, spirituality. And if I'm going to be pragmatic, yes, some form of religion is nice over there, but also some tangibilities, some tangible gifts and impact will be great for that continent as well. So just lecturing them and assert our military influence just to take stuff from them. Okay. So that's all I got for that topic. Now it's a slightly shorter one, and this is more US based. So I've achieved a slight balance here. US seeks to sanction ICC after warrant seeking Mr. Netanyahu. The Republican controlled House has passed it 247 to 155. I'm sure a lot of Republicans agree with that. And a couple of a decent amount of Democrats, which are very moderate ones. Yeah, it's symbolic. It's just put on the record that we don't like that. And Biden doesn't like the fact that there's a arrest warrant for Netanyahu and Gallant as well. That's that's a defense minister, Geoff Gallant. You know, I don't think anything is going to happen to those two because as long as America let's be real, America still supporting Israel, despite saying we want a two-state solution, despite a lot of lecturing and trying to tell Israel how to fight its war. U.S. still supports Israel. Let's be clear, and especially on the Republican side. Of course, the Speaker, Mike Johnson, the current Speaker, he supports Netanyahu. And then, of course, Biden says that he was offering a peace plan, a new roadmap towards that permanent peace plan. But Netanyahu, he's going to continue this attack until he sees, I should say, he will continue to fight until he achieves his desired ends. So, it's passing the House, but the Senate, they're not gonna. I think they're gonna leave it there, or they might even just vote against it. Yeah, especially the Republican Party that have shown mostly support. I mean, with the exception of Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey is, the only one of the few Republican voices. I mean, the most prolific one that criticizes Israel. Unlike most of them, they support Israel almost unconditionally, just like Democrats support the fight in Ukraine almost unconditionally. So, different geopolitical conflicts have the parties divided. When it comes to Israel, Republicans are strongly united. When it comes to Ukraine, Democrats are strongly united. So, I don't think it's going anywhere, if you want to be honest. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. Let's wrap this up. Mexico has elected a left-leaning woman who has extensive experience with climate change. She worked in the UN panel. She has some clout. That's what the cool people say. Okay. Claudia Sheinbaum, the successor of Andres. Oh my goodness, Andres. What's that? Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. There you go. Oof. And she's going to seek just to do slightly different things compared to his more passive, soft on immigration. Okay, and she wants more cooperation with the U.S. and she wants the U.S. to help financially as well. Like I said, as president, that Biden's president, I think is more doable. Again, we don't know who's going to win 2024. This is going to be a very, very, very tight election. This is what I'm saying. It's a toss-up. I've never seen anything like that. The easiest thing to predict was who's going to be the nominee, major part. Who's going to win? It could go either way. I mean, I'm just going to throw this in real quick that before that Trump guilty verdict, on average, he was ahead by 8 points. Now he's on average, I think, by 2 points. And, Trump still got a narrow lead, but certain polls, Biden's even winning now. So there's definitely a shift. And these polls are just a snapshot. They're not the real thing. The real poll is at election. That's it. Make sure you vote. If you're going to sit out, I'm going to be a hypocrite here. I think you should sit out the presidential. Vote for a state and local because those lawmakers have more impact on your lives, more direct impact than the federal government. The federal government just gets a lot of attention and a lot of people just vote for the president. Yeah, president's important, but so is the senator, the House of Representatives, and then within the state, the governor, the Senate, and the Assembly or the House, whatever the heck states call them, and then a local government, something about a city council, a town council, or town exec. Okay, local government's got its own infrastructure, got its own structures and systems. They wildly varies, and I am not going to get into it. This is not the episode. And then for two, the Western influence is declining. Various of African nations have kicked out America, or they have kicked out America. Okay, Niger, Chad, and several others, and Russia and Iran are increasing their influence, filling that void. Now it's because U.S. and European nations have that colonizing mindset. And, people get tired. They get tired. I would like them to work it out more diplomatically, but, when you reap what you sow. Keep doing abuse, you're eventually going to get such a great pushback. You're going to wonder why. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. And then the United States tried to pass sanctions, Congress to be exact. The House of Representatives tried to pass sanction ACC. The Senate is either not going to take it up or going to vote against it. Wherever it is, nothing's going to happen. Okay, that's the bottom line. Nothing's going to happen. Of course, Biden is not too happy about it. Republicans, most of them have voted for it. Moderate Democrats have joined the Republicans on that. The progressive wing of the party, they want it. They're very interested in that. They like what the ICC is doing. The international, they like what they're seeing. They will support South Africans. Mr. Netanyahu to be held to account. Okay, they cause them to colonize the state. So that's another thing I'm just throwing. I know I got bad habits doing extra stuff. My brain works in real time, and the more I repeat this, the more I add stuff. It's a legit criticism. I won't argue against it. Okay, that's all I got for you. So from wherever you're listening to this podcast, you have a blessed day, afternoon, or night.